not going to have any sinister Pokemon shit in this one. So now I have a proper drink.
No.
Cheers.
Welcome to our review of the year.
As we said, we are going to go to a house party. And I'm going to get fucking ruinous because I bought vodka.
Well, to be fair, your contact got you in some vodka.
I now have a guy.
Yeah, he's got a guy. He supplies him with really good stuff.
We decided we'd do like a quick flash. What has happened in 2015 for us, and what the fuck we've been playing, and what the fuck we're hoping to be convulsing in the new year.
Okay.
Confusing, facing, and convulsing.
Is that
Just mash those three together.
okay?
For me, 2015 was a pretty crazy one. We did Total War Attila, and I left the Creative Assembly, and I joined Improbable to work on Ion, and that's all I can say on that.
Well, to be fair, you also went to E3, which was pretty mad.
That was crazy. I did like a video from the crowd. Like Dean was fucking up there on the Microsoft stage, which, by the way, is fucking massive. Did a lot of events this year. Met some incredibly cool people, and that was super cool. I wish I could talk more about the work stuff, but that's going to be kicking into gear next year.
Weirdly, I've probably got about the same thing. Halo Wars 2 got announced, and we can finally say that we're working on that. So that's good. We can actually tell people that we're working on it rather than going, we're working on a thing.
Cheers for not announcing that at the same event as us, because that would have been really awkward.
Yeah. But it's fine. So that's work-wise. I mean,
Things we have played. So,
oh man, I actually made a list. I made a
You
list
made a
of
fucking
things.
list.
I made a list of things that I played and things that I wanted to play, mostly because
okay, so
I
without
couldn't really remember.
So without your list, this is my interesting thing, is like when people say,
Off the top of my
yeah,
head.
so favourite games off the top of your head. So I'm obviously going to do like Undertale, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Rocket League, and I'm going to say Vermintide. Those are my knee-jerk reaction 5.
Right, because those are all fairly late release games as well. All in the past kind of 3 months, something like that.
Which could be because I have the memory of the sieve, or because my alcohol-addled brain can't remember too many things. So what are your top 5 reactionary? And then we'll go into some deets.
Right, okay. What have I been playing? I actually replayed Baldur's Gate, the first one. I played Bravely Default on the DS. That was a really good, interesting RPG. Monster Hunter 4. Again.
Oh shit! Monster Hunter was this year.
Monster Hunter was this year.
I got
released. Got released on yes. So I played loads of that.
Murder things and wear them. It's Monster Hunter.
Isn't that pretty much every game?
Well,
It's how I play every game.
and life as well.
Yeah. I've been playing a load of Binding of Isaac, like so much Binding of Isaac that it's not been.
Is that the re-release for this year?
That is the Rebirth re-release. Yeah.
Cool.
MechWarrior Online.
MechWarrior Online.
MechWarrior Online.
Got a Steam release at the end of this year and just took to it like fire with more fire.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
We'll be putting up a video or many videos about it at some point. But it's been good. It's been good.
I get the legs, you get the guns. I actually did pretty good. We did pretty good.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
If I wasn't so fucking obnoxious, I'd probably put more videos up about it.
So I'm going to hit on something that you went a bit sort of crazy over. Beginner's Guide. Beginner's Guide was super important, almost, I would say, as important as Life is Strange, which is one of the games on my list of things that I want to play, and Last of Us, and Undertale. All of these things are really important milestones for gaming, and I think that they really need to be called out. But Beginner's Tale has this kind of weird double-sided coin nature of it.
This is the hand of spoilers. Well, actually, it's usually the hand of note, but it's going to be the hand of spoilers. We're going to talk about the Beginner's Guide. If you haven't played it, skip ahead. The hand will appear again.
Yeah, when we finish.
Okay, so there are 2 possible outcomes of the Beginner's Guide. One is that it is a true story, one that it isn't. And both of these are such strong narratives in their own.
If it's a true story, then it's the story of one of the greatest designers of our time who wanted to live in obscurity, and somebody who was such a fan of his work that he was willing to anger his friend, his good friend, and destroy his relationship with him in a sense in order to just bring him back into the industry which he left.
His friend had stopped making games because his work had been released without his permission. And so the beginner's guide is essentially one big cry for please come back, please talk to me again.
But
if it's not,
if it's a lie, then
if it's not true,
well, this is the thing. If it's a lie that this person existed, effectively, not the work. The work stands for itself. It exists. You know, you can play the game,
Yeah.
and all of those levels exist. And the tower, the last level that you go through, is one of my favorites. It looks great. It feels great. It's got all this. It's the crescendo moment of the whole story.
yeah,
But if it's all a lie that this person existed, then we have to take it in two different ways. That it's not a cry for help. It's a cry for help from the creator of Beginner's Guide,
yeah,
saying, this is me and I've created a false persona of this thing. Or it's a story where maybe he went through this and he's externalizing this as a separate character so he can take other people through a journey. All of these things are good. It's just that he hasn't made a call on which one of them, if any of them, are actually true.
he has legitimately refused to comment on whether or not it's a true story. So, who knows?
It simultaneously exists in. It is Schrodinger's game,
Yeah.
where it exists in everything and nothing. But it's totally worth playing, totally worth your time, and
It's only about 2 hours to finish.
there's been a lot of stuff going on about whether it's a bad idea to buy it and play it and all the rest of this kind of stuff. I think it's good it's good enough on its own to play. It doesn't need to be true in order for you to have a good time playing it, and for you to interact with it, and for you to be engaged and interested in the ideas that are there. Because
if you turned around and said, it's all true, or turned around and said, it's all false, I made it all up, it's entirely a narrative about my personalities, still brilliant. It's still, and yeah, for anybody industry side, you guys need a piece of this.
Yes.
Which I will also say about Undertale.
I have not played Undertale yet.
So we can't spoiler it.
I bought it, and I was going to play it, and then Shovel Knight happened. And a lot of Shovel Knight happened. And then loads of Binding of Isaac happened.
And then
but it's
then
there.
we started drinking. I think we lost a couple days.
Yeah, I remember being in a mech. Did that happen? Did that happen?
That happened.
Okay, right, that happened. Right. Hopefully for real. Please let it be real.
So yeah, even if you need to play Undertale, even if you feel like you understand it by looking at it, just give it a go. Try and do a no kills playthrough and you'll understand why people rave. Also, the soundtrack's incredible.
The soundtrack is amazing.
And when we finish doing this, I'm going to fucking put on some of the soundtrack and it's going to be like whoop whoop.
It's going to be awesome.
So,
And
2015's been a brutal year for great people passing on. Like you've just done a short list.
I've literally done a short list of sort of famous obituaries. We'll go through a couple of them. You know, Omar Sharif, he was a fantastic actor. He hadn't done anything in a while, but yeah, still amazing. I mean, you know, my parents talk about him all the time. Wes Craven,
legend, creator of one of the great grandfathers of horror.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. He's basically he was one of the people that kind of invented the slasher genre, effectively.
Yep.
Virtually on his own. Keeping in that kind of same vein, we've got Christopher Lee and Leonard Nimoy both dying. I mean, Christopher Lee had an amazing innings.
Do you know he had the most amount of on-screen sword fights of any actor in the world ever?
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
One of the reasons why Count Dooku's saber handle was curved was because he was already an incredibly trained fencer. So it was designed to be a fencing saber.
Ah, that's amazing.
Because he was just fucking brilliant.
He voiced Death in Pratchett's Hogfather and in all of the TV adaptations of stuff. And then what happens? But Terry Pratchett dies.
Yes. He was ill for a long time, and he fought like a badass.
Oh yeah, he
Dude
did.
even did a documentary about the shit he was going through, and like to go through the stuff that he did on its own is brutal. But to actually
like put it out there for other people to see, especially when it's so personal to him and his work as well. I mean, if you imagine somebody who's a great sculptor or something like that, and they start getting, you know, rheumatoid arthritis or some sort of degenerative bone disease, and they can't actually work on the thing that they're doing, this is basically what he was doing. The very instrument that he used to create was being destroyed,
didn't stop him from out some badass books.
No, I mean the last series of books is really, really good, and he is survived by his daughter, who is also really, really good author in her own right. I was actually at Codemasters when she was writing Overlord, so that was quite cool.
Did you get a chance to meet her?
Very, very briefly in a corridor. I think she was given a tour around the studio.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was just like, this is Rihanna Pratchett. And I was just like, oh, hey, I love your work and your father's work as well. And she's like, oh, thank you. He lived long, he prospered, Leonard Nimoy.
Motherfucking badass.
I know.
Everything from the voice of the original Lord of the Rings to Spock himself.
And he was in the Transformers movie.
Fuck yeah, he was.
Don't forget.
Unicron, motherfucker! Sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel I shouldn't have said that.
Well, no.
However, it's great fun that everyone has been spocking Canadian money, which is fantastic.
That's true. That's always good.
Well done, internet. Well done.
There's two last ones. We'll do the non-game related one first, which is this week. Lemmy died. Death. Finally killed by death. Finally, literally killed by death.
Death saying in quote that I had to take him at some point. He did say he didn't want to live forever. It's in the song.
It's in the song. And the thing is that, you know, he'd been trying to die for like 45 years, and death just didn't have it in him. Just literally did not have the heart to take away Larry. Epic level bards never die.
Epic level bards never die.
Never die.
They just end up on repeat.
They just end up inspiring some new song. And finally, as if that weren't enough, Satoru Iwata, head of Nintendo, passed away.
One of the best of us is unfortunately left.
It's crazy because I don't know what Nintendo's going to be like without him at the head doing his crazy thing and being in adverts and on stage doing all of those things.
Those
that
incredible videos, like him contemplating a banana. That time he was a puppet.
the time he was a puppet, that was amazing. The thing is that only he could do that.
So, I guess all that's left to do is say, 2015 was pretty polarizing. There was some sad passings. There were some great times and some dreadful moments.
There was the industry is still trying to find itself in what is a changing universe. I have faith that we can do better next year, but we just have to think about each other.
That's a very good way of putting it. We've seen incredible things happen, and I'm really hoping 2016 is going to continue that.
Just be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other. Should we get fucking mashed?